my name's Barney Wilkinson. I'm Bud and Archie in Bonnie and Clyde, and I'm also Alternate Clyde. So I'm on twice a week as Clyde. I'm on tonight. So 2 show days, I do one of them. So I'm on tonight as Clyde, and then I'm on Saturday matinees as Clyde. And then all the other times, I'm just a police officer, and I've got a little scene where I get an autograph off Bonnie.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I do.
And then I know it was kind of, they did the concert version, didn't they, last year before it kind of
Yeah.
then. But what kind of first attracted you to wanting to be part of the production?
So obviously, anyone who's been to drama school will know that everyone listens to it at drama school. And I sang a lot of the songs at drama school, so I've always liked the show. And then I saw it was coming to London, and I just got a new agent at the time, so I emailed them and I said I'd love to be seen for Bonnie and Clyde, and I got in, got the job, and I was absolutely stoked because I got offered first cover Clyde at that stage, and yeah, who doesn't want to play Clyde Barron and Bonnie and Clyde? Mint.
Yeah, of course, of course. But then when we were kind of first cast in the production, what kind of preparation do you then do? Do you kind of do research? Do you kind of look at the history or anything?
Yeah, definitely. So, well, partially, obviously, you read up on Bonnie and Clyde, but there's only so far you can go with the real story of Bonnie and Clyde versus our version of Bonnie and Clyde where they're singing.
Yeah.
And also, it's good to prep and learn your lines and get work done before you turn up to rehearsals. But at the same time, you don't want to turn up to rehearsals with too many preconceived ideas because you want the director to be able to direct you into his version of the show and stuff like that. So yeah, I obviously learned my words, learned my lines, and just turned up and hoped for the best, really.
Yeah, and obviously, as we say, it was on last year at the Arts Theatre as well, which you were obviously part of, and now it's kind of come back to the Garrick Theatre. How's it been to kind of get to rework a show like that?
Yeah, it's been great. The Arts was mint because it was so small and so intimate. That like if you were watching it, you felt like you were in the living room with the people on stage, which was so good. So I was a little bit not worried, but I thought maybe the intimacy might be lost when we come to the Garrick, but it hasn't been lost at all. And we just slotted right in, and it just means we've kind of got more space in the wings, which is great because in the Arts we had to climb over all the set, and we've got our new cast members who have changed the show again, which is so good. It's so nice because it meant rehearsals were fresh again because they brought their ideas and their versions of the characters, and then that kind of has a knock-on effect to everyone else. So the scenes change, and then the whole show changes, and then you've got a new show. So yeah, it's been great.
And then do you kind of personally do anything like in that meantime to not change the role, but kind of when you're coming back to it, do you kind of have done kind of any work in between on it?
Yeah. So being an alternate, I just sit at the side and watch Jordan do his thing to make sure I've learned all the blocking and stage and stuff like that. And then I look at what I did last time and what I'm happy with, I keep. And then anything that I felt never really worked for me or never landed or whatever, I just have a look at it again. Well, what I did actually is in my kitchen, I went through the whole show myself, just did all the scenes by myself. And there were just certain parts that didn't feel the same anymore, didn't feel right anymore. So I just changed them and made them work with what we've got now. And as alternates, you don't really get the rehearsal time and the space to try things and all that stuff. So you kind of just have to, well, you get some time, but a lot of the time you're just on stage in front of an audience and you're trying ideas out for the first time and stuff. So it makes it fun, but it also makes it quite scary because sometimes it doesn't work and you're like, ugh.
Yeah. Then obviously having done the run at the Arts and it's got such a loyal fan base now, hasn't it, the show? How kind of gratifying is that, knowing that kind of fan base has made it come back, I suppose?
Oh, it's amazing. It's so nice that the support that those people give you, like on our first preview, before it even started, the place just erupted with cheers and screams and stuff. And just to know that regardless of what happens or what people think, the fan base will have your back. And they obviously love watching it over and over again. And like we've got so many different covers and swings who each do different takes on the characters, so that makes it exciting for us. It makes it exciting for the fans. Yeah, it's great.
And as you say, playing that alternate and then obviously actually being in the show kind of regularly anyway, does that kind of help when you kind of do it? Because obviously you've seen Jordan do it. Obviously your take's kind of your own take, but is it kind of
Yeah, of
helpful?
course. Yeah, it's good because you kind of absorb informational lines by via osmosis. Like there's one time in the arts when I was second cover for Buck, and I didn't really ever intend on going on or think I was ever going to go on. Then one day they rang me like, "You're going to have to go on. Everyone's ill."
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, I don't know if I know the lines," but because we'd been in the show for a while by then, when I ran the scenes, I just kind of knew the lines without even realizing. I think it just soaked into my subconscious. Um, so yeah, it's good being in the scenes with people. But then again, obviously, I'm watching what Jordan's doing, and obviously, I want to put my own spin on things.
Yeah, of course.
So I try not to copy him, basically.
And then do you have to kind of prepare differently, like today, like when you've got two shows where you're doing kind of split kind of performances, do you have to kind of prepare yourself differently for that?
I don't actually know yet because today is the first day I've done my ensemble track in the afternoon
Yeah.
and Clyde in the evening. So I'll find out what my process is in between shows. Um, yeah, my plan is to do the warm up before, like full warm up before the two show day, and then in between shows, before the evening show, I usually just sing one of the songs to like get my voice there,
Yeah.
and then hope for the best, cross my fingers and hope for the best, I guess.
Yeah. You'll be fine. You'll be great. You'll be grand.
Yeah.
Then do you have a kind of favorite part of the show, either to perform in or kind of observe?
Mm, when I'm on as Clyde, I really love doing When I Drive because if I'm feeling anxious or full of adrenaline or pumped or whatever, that song just gets it all out of my system. And then I can kind of like take the foot off the gas after that. And it's just a good song. It's just such a good song. Um, so I like doing that as Clyde. And then what do I like in my ensemble track? I love watching Dom do absolutely anything.
Yeah.
Like Dom singing God's Arms or Dom doing Made in America. Like, he's just incredible, that guy. He's unreal.
Yes. And now this is not a question about Bonnie and Clyde. This is about one of your previous shows, which I saw last year, Into the Woods,
Mhm.
which was incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of how was that?
Oh,
Kind
you
of,
liked it?
oh, yeah, I loved it. It was brilliant. Kind of we came down,
Oh,
stayed
good,
in
good, good.
Bristol for a few days, and it was yeah, a brilliant show. But how
Oh,
kind of was
amazing.
working on such like a, I guess coming from the arts and going into that and kind of such a different scale, I suppose.
Yeah, it was like, well, in a way, it was like, obviously you saw it. The set was
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely insane.
yeah,
Like we had an actual giant in the wings. It
yeah,
had all the different characters' houses. We had that massive clock and all that stuff. So it was a bigger space and a bigger theater. But because there was so much set and
yeah,
like props and like it was still really tight. So we were still kind of like creeping behind the houses and watching out for the giant and stuff like that in the wings. Um, but yeah, I loved that show so much just because it was so crazy. Like you didn't have a
yeah.
second where you weren't dodging a tree or dodging a house or like dodging a clock. And there was a big company of people who were all absolutely insane. Yeah, it was some show.
It was. Hopefully, there's a future life for it because it was brilliant.
Yeah, I hope so too.
But then I always ask this same question to everyone I speak to: what does theatre mean to you?
What does the? It's a heavy question.
Yeah,
What's theatre mean to me? I'm trying to think. Well, one of the first things I saw was Blood Brothers, and I loved it.
yeah,
And what I think I love about theatre is that for me, if I'm watching it, I can't comprehend the fact that there's like cars going past outside or people just like going about their daily business outside. Whereas if I'm at the cinema or somewhere, I can kind of distance myself from what's happening and be like, I'm in a cinema and I'm watching a film. But when I'm in the theater, I feel like I'm completely immersed by everything.
yeah,
And I struggle to be like, there's people going about their daily business outside. Meanwhile, someone's pouring their heart out on stage right in front of me. And I think it's important that people get the chance to see theatre. I was very lucky. The school I went to was quite big on getting kids into drama and music and stuff. So there was a lot of opportunities for us. they took us to the theatre and they took us to see big bands and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm always very grateful that my high school had the resources to take us to the theatre and do that, because it completely opened my eyes. And yeah, I think it can change people's lives if they go at the right time in their life and see the, even like seeing pantomimes as kids.
Yeah,
I just think it's a magic thing.
I wholeheartedly agree. But my final question for you today is probably the easiest one. Why should anybody out there who hasn't booked tickets yet book to see Bonnie and Clyde?
Because it's great. Because it's really good. No, the songs are amazing. The cast are insane. It might be a lot funnier than you think it's going to be.
Okay.
It's very fast paced. It's dramatic. It's very cinematic as well. There's guns, there's explosions, there's big songs, there's big singing, there's 11 o'clock numbers, and it's really good. Yeah, it's just really good.
Yes, it's got an amazing cast. Nick Winston, who is generally just brilliant anyway.
Yeah,
and yeah, so
he's
yeah, I fully endorse it. I wholeheartedly recommend everyone goes. Bonnie and Clyde runs at the Garrick Theatre until the 20th of May, and you can catch yourself on as Alternate Clyde on Wednesday evenings and Saturday matinees. So anyone who wants to catch you, do it.
100%. Come see.